Hello dear friends, Patrick here again. I just wanted to make a quick video to share something with you that jumped out at me that I had never noticed before. It's from John 3. In my video from yesterday, I included a quote from John 3. And as I was reviewing my notes, I saw this verse and it just hit me in a way that I had never noticed before. I don't know why, but you'll probably recognize it. It's John 3, and he's talking to Nicodemus that came to see Jesus at nighttime. He was, like one of the inner high priest kind of guys at the time, so he wanted to go see Jesus on the sly and find out what he's all about. And so John 3, verses 10 to 21 is about this discussion, but look what happens. He says, just as Jesus speaking to Nicodemus, he says, "Are you the teacher of Israel and understand not these things?" This is after he had told him, you must be born again and all that, right? They were saying, you must be born again, and Nicodemus didn't understand it. And so he said, you're the teacher of Israel, you don't understand these things? So he had a high position as a teacher, right? He says, "Truly, truly, I say unto thee, we speak that which we know, and bear witness of that which we have seen, and you receive not our witness. If I told you earthly things, and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you heavenly things?" Now, this is the sentence that got me. He says, "And no one has ascended into heaven, but he that descended out of heaven, even the Son of Man who is in heaven." You catch that? He says, how can you believe if you don't believe the earthly things? How are you going to believe if I tell you heavenly things? And right after that, I believe that Jesus is telling him a heavenly thing. In fact, there's some versions of this scripture that modify it so it doesn't sound as convoluted, but in the King James, that's actually how it's written. It says, "And no one has ascended into heaven." Now, don't forget, Christ hasn't ascended yet from the crucifixion, right? And 3 days afterwards, he ascends into heaven, but that hasn't happened yet, obviously, right? He says, "No one has ascended into heaven, but he that descended out of heaven, even the Son of Man who is in heaven." What does that tell you? What it tells me, and this is only my impression, please correct me if I'm wrong, it tells me that these things have happened already in a different dimension, in a different realm. He's saying no one's ascended into heaven but he that descended out of heaven, even the Son of Man who is in heaven. He's basically saying, I came down from heaven, I ascended back into heaven, and I'm in heaven. How can he be in heaven when he's sitting there talking to Nicodemus? Because in the light of eternity, in the reality of the true reality, which is the spirit realm, these things have already happened. And so if we think about scriptures that tell us that our names have been written in heaven, right? He said, "Rejoice that your names are written in heaven." And we're told that from the foundation of the world, that these things have been sort of predestined. What do these scriptures remind us of? If we combine it with this heavenly message that he's given him here, is that we are to realize that we are already seated in the heavenly places with Christ. That we should already see our future as if it's already happened. That we've already stood before God and he has told us, "Well done and good and faithful servant. Well done. You did a good job. You made it. Enter into the glory that I've prepared for you and for those who believe in my Son and accepted my truth and came to the light," and so on and so forth. We should see that as having already happened. This is the heritage of the saints. This is the the hope that we have, that it's already accomplished for us in heaven, and that our future is in heaven, that our hope is in heaven, that our true nationality, if you want to call it that, our true home is in heaven, where that has already been accomplished. Just as Christ was explaining to Nicodemus, he was telling him that he had descended from the Father, he had already ascended to the Father, he's already existing in heaven, as if it's all in one tense, all at the same time. Does it make sense, what I'm trying to say? And this is like a heavenly message. It's hard to wrap your head around it, because you kind of have to get it down into your spirit. You have to get it down deep inside, so that you can realize that when he said it is finished, it's accomplished, it's done. We are there now. We are there now together in heaven with God, in a more solid reality than the reality that we're currently in. This reality that we're currently in it's like a dream. It's almost not even real. I'm just going to segue for a second and share with you a little story that I saw the other day. And it was so bizarre, because this gentleman had made fun of Scott Adams on his Twitter feed. He said that, oh, look at this post that Scott Adams made. He said that if Biden got elected, you might not last for a year. And he was kind of making fun, saying, he's like Nostradamus. I guess he's not very good at predicting the future, something like that. So why would he pick out that time to do that? He picked out that time to do that, and within like 24 or 48 hours from making that post, he tragically passed away, unfortunately, very tragic. And I watched Scott Adams' daily discussion to see his thoughts on it, and I thought he would say, it's because of this assimilation and, this and that, and he might have something profound to say about it, but he kind of, in a rather humble kind of way, sort of said, it's just coincidence. And he left it at that. He said it's a tragedy, it's sad, it's unfortunate, it's a coincidence. He just moved on. But think about it. If you think about Psalm 2, when it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? God will have them in derision. God will laugh. You can't think of something, a greater sense of irony. Is so thick, the irony, that you could cut it with a knife, that this guy would make this comment, and you see the result that happens. It's as if God is, put it this way, when God laughs, it's with a wry sense of humor. I'll leave it at that, and I'll let you to let your mind wrap around that, if that makes any sense to you at all. It means something to me, but for each person it might look at that a little differently. But getting back to this message that he gives to Nicodemus, he said, look it, I'm going to try and explain to you the earthly things about who I am, what's going on, how to be born again. But he also gives him this little sliver of a eternal spiritual truth, that we are together with Christ. We who have put our trust in him, we who have believed, that have been baptized into his name, that we are seated at the heavenly places together with God for all eternity. And this is the hope that we have, that it is a powerful destiny, the overwhelming love of God, to be able to be called children of God forever and ever. And just to let that sink in, and to visualize it as already being accomplished and permanent, and no one can steal that from you. Can you imagine what a blessed destiny that is? That you have that hope and promise from God himself, that said, you're going to be together with me in paradise. Wow. If we could just dwell on that more often, let's say, keep that keep that at the back of our mind, that it's already there. We're already there now with him. We were there before, we are there now, and we will be there again, all at the same time. That is a mystery. But if we can get our head around that and realize that as being true, it makes the idea of a simulation inconsequential. This is beyond a simulation. This is recognizing that the spiritual realm is more real than this life that we're experiencing, this transitory, temporary, fleeting moment that we get to enjoy on this earth and make friends and have families and occupy and be fruitful and multiply and so on and so forth until he comes. That's just a temporary, fleeting vapor. But permanently, we have a place reserved for us in heaven that we are already there. We are already there. Can you see where you are? Can you see where your soul really is right now? That you are together with God in heaven with Christ? That there's nothing impossible for him to accomplish in your life? I hope you can get a vision of that, because I want to get a vision of that. I'm grasping at it, and it's elusive because it is a heavenly truth. It is a spiritual truth that is really difficult to live by, to absorb, to adopt, if you want to call it that. That's all I have for today. I wanted to share that with you. God bless you. I love you very much. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you spend time with people you love and you get some fresh air and some exercise. And occupy until he comes. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Take care. You try, read it for yourself. It's in John 3. Bye-bye now.